Okay, so I'm going to record this class. I'm trying to make up for time. Losing a day each week to Khan Academy, or losing about a month of instruction in the classroom. So that's causing me to lose dead week for your finals. Either that or decide what chapter am I not going to teach, or a part of a chapter. So, there we go. Sorry. There we go. Alright, so I'm just trying to do as much as I can do and give you everything that you can possibly receive to the best of my ability. So I'm giving you guys 100% and more, and I need you to give back 100% or more, okay? And I'm having struggles with this class in particular. It's like, guys, I need you to work harder. A few of you are killing it. You're doing great. Yeah, but a majority of you need to try harder, okay? We've got to bring those grades up, okay? There was bell work here, and we'll do this tomorrow because I want you to have all the time you can have for your quiz. But it was basically, you're going to write a number on a piece of paper, then you're going to do all these mathematical computations to it. And then in the end, you're going to tell me, what's the result? Does this make sense? And why? Or why not? So I'll leave this for you tomorrow. And that was just those operations blown up so you could see from your seat. But moving straight on into the lesson, this is right where I want to take you. This is the same thing that's at the top of your lesson on 7.4, the one that you just ripped out of your workbook, the properties of logarithms, 7.4 practice, form K. If you notice at the top of your lesson there's a table. It's in columnar format, which means there's 3 columns. It says properties of logarithms for the title, and then it says product property, quotient property, and power property. Those are your 3 columns. Well, here, these are the same. They're just up here it's in rows instead of columns. You've got it in columnar format. I've got it in row format. So when you look up here, they're the same things. It says for any positive numbers, m, n, and b, where b cannot equal 1, these following properties apply. So we've got something called a product property on properties of logarithms. All these are about logs. So when you see a log of something multiplied, so for example, log b of m times n, we can say that that's the same thing as saying the log b of m plus log b of n. So you're taking this multiplication and you're adding them. The m times n becomes that same log and base, adding the m and the n, okay? So, I'll do something here. All right. Next, you've got the quotient property. Log b of m divided by n, we can say that that's equal to log b of m minus the log b of n. Okay. And next, we've got the power property, which says if I have log b of m to the nth power, that's the same thing as saying n times log b to the m. So basically, this little n right here is getting pushed right there and deleted from that. Okay. So let's look at these things in action. Let's apply them. So for problem 1, it says what's each expression written as a single logarithm? So now what they're going to do is they're going to give us the right side of that equal sign, and you're going to try to combine it into the left side on all of your properties there. So they give us log 4 of 32 minus log 4 of 2. So we've got a subtraction. look on the right side of all three of those equal signs. Here it is. And which one has the minus, has the subtraction? Is it the product property? Does that have the subtraction in it? Yes or no? Yes or no? No, thank you. Okay, is it the quotient property? Yes, thank you, good job. So yeah, there's that minus sign. So this is the one we're going to use. Now let's apply it. We've got log 4 of 32 minus log 4 of, let me get back to it, log 4 of 2. Okay. So that means we can combine this into a division problem. So what do? We keep the log 4, log base 4, of 32 divided by 2. Okay, and there it is right here in that first one right here. Okay, and now we can rewrite 32 divided by 2 as 16. So log 4 16, we're still simplifying. Now what we want to try to do is clear any logs that we can clear. Like we used to clear square roots, if we could do it. Now we're going to try to clear logs. How do we clear logs? Well, what we want to do is we want to try to rewrite this number as a factor of your base that matches your base. So can I rewrite 16 that has a factor of 4? And what would it be? 4 to which power? 4 squared. So 16 is 4 squared. So now this power matches my base. Do you see that? Let me clear. I'll clear all that up. So here's the next step. So rewrite 16 as a power of 4. Now think about what this says. When I have log 4 of 4, it means, well, what power, right? That's what goes in here. What power do I have to put to this number to equal this? So 4, very good. 4 to the first power is equal to 1. So what happens, log 4 of 4 goes to 1. And if I had a power up here like x or 10, these just drop down. And that's the way we simplify these. Let me show you. So now that I have log 4 of 4 squared, which we just rewrote it, now that log 4 of 4 cancels out and just drop down the 2. So your answer becomes 2. See that? So you had log base 4 of 4 squared. So the log 4 of 4 cancels out and just drop this down. So your answer becomes that right there, 2. Easy? Pretty easy. Now let's look at the next one. We have 6 log 2 of x plus 5 log 2 of y. Well, we have two things going on here. We've got that product, or excuse me, the power property going on, and we have, let's see, an addition, which is the product property. So we have the power and the product. So let's work the power property first on both of these. So clear the ink and scoot this up. So the first thing we want to do is rewrite this left side. 6 log 2 of x. Okay, well this goes up here. That's how you rewrite it. That's all there is to it. So that becomes that, and that means that my 5 log 2y becomes log 2y to the 5th power. So now I have, and here it is right here. Here, I'll erase my stuff. That's this line right here. That's what I just wrote. So now I've got log 2 of x to the 6th power plus log 2 y to the 5th power. Now I've got to do my product property. So I've got to reverse that. So when they're added, that means you're going to multiply them. So now this becomes, keep your base of log 2. There it is, log 2. And now it's just going to be x to the 6th times y to the 5th, which is x6, y5. That's all there is to it. That's as far as you can simplify that. Any questions? Okay, look at problems 1 through 6. Let's look at the first one. You have log 3, 9 plus log 3, 24. So how can I rewrite this as a single logarithm? I'm going to keep my base of log 3, right? And how am I going to rewrite the 9 plus 24? What do we do with them? Well, the plus came from, look at your 3 tables up there, your 3 columns. What did it, here, let me copy this. Where's my copy? Copy. Now paste, there it is. Okay, so which one came from the add? The product properties, so we're going to multiply them. So I've got log 3, and now I've got to do my 9 times 24. Okay. Now, 9 times 24 is 216. So it's going to be log 3 of 216. Now we could try to rewrite 216 in powers of 3 and simplify, but actually for this problem set, we're good. Okay? If you were taking a test, I would just look at all my answer choices and see if they were simplified or not. And if they weren't, if this answer was there, you're done. Okay? All right, next, let's look at number 2. So on number 2, you've got log 4 of 16 to the 3rd power. So we've got the power property going on. So here we've got this. So how are we going to rewrite it? This n is going to shift in front. So what's my n in this equation? The 3. So we're going to move that out in front of the equation and erase it there, and you're done. Actually, let's go ahead and simplify this one for grins, okay? Because we've already done a 16. So if it's 3 log 4 16, we can rewrite 16 as 4 squared, right? So let me extend 3 log 4 of 4 squared. Now what happens here? Log 4 of 4, that goes to 1, and we drop down the 2. So we end up with 3 times 2, which is 6. But before you do that, make sure you look at your answer choices, okay, on your test. All right? Any questions about that? All right, so you'll work problems 1 through 6 like that. Now look at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now let's look at problem 2 for that one. In problem 2, it says you can expand a single logarithm to involve a sum of difference of 2 or more logarithms. Oh, so we're going to have multi-step things going on. So now it says, what is each logarithm expanded? So now we're going to expand it. They're giving us the single. Now we're going to expand it into more than one. So we have log no base. When they leave out the base, what is it? Remember, our natural logarithm is 10. Remember, we're base 10. So that probably came from caveman days, because we have 10 fingers and 10 toes. It was just a nice thing to count with. You can go up to 10, then you got to start over with something else. So we're base 10. That's our natural. So when they leave the base off of a log, it's just understood to be 10. We don't write that common or the natural logarithm. So we have log 4x over y. So how are we going to rewrite that? We're going to expand it. So that's our quotient property, right? So what's it going to be? Log m minus log n. So what's that going to be? Equal to log of 4x minus log of y. Everybody with me to there? Now I'm still not finished, because now I still have a log that's multiplied. So now I've got to use my product property. And if it's multiplied, what do we do when we split it up? Add them. So now it's going to be log 4 plus log x. Actually, it's right there. Log 4 plus log x for this guy. And then you just carry down the minus log y. And you're done. Any questions? Okay, one more here. So now we have log base 9 of x to the 4th divided by 729. So that's a division, right? Or quotient property. So how are we going to rewrite that? Addition or subtraction? Subtraction, thank you. All right, so here's the way I remember this. When you have this, I'm trying to copy it. All right, so when I have this division of log b over m to the n, I look at it this way. So this becomes my m, the bar becomes my minus, and the n. And of course, you've got your log b over there, right? Do you see that? So there's my m minus n. So my log b of m divided by n becomes log b of m. So there's my m, that one's done, minus, I use my bar for the minus to remind me that's the minus, log b of n. And that's how I remember which is which. Oh yeah, that means that the product property is the add, and the power property, we know we just switch that from in front, from the power to in front of the log. So how to remember which is which? Just remember the division has the minus sign to give you a hint right there in the division bar. Looks like a minus sign. So subtract m minus n. All right, so we've got that. So we've got x to the 4th over 729. So we're going to do log 9 x to the 4th minus log 9 729. Now we want to rewrite 729, and the hint is try to rewrite it in a factor of your base. Our base is 9. So 9 to the what power is 729? Well, 9 to the 3rd power is 729. So you wouldn't have to work very far. 9 times 9, 9 squared is 81. 81 times 9 is 729. So you would have got to it pretty quickly. So now that we have that, then we can take this out, log 9 of 9, and just drop the 3 down. And there's your answer. 4 log 9 of x minus 3. Any questions over any of that? I've got to get you guys started on the test. Okay, so your homework tonight is this first page. Okay, 1 through 13, and this is all about problems 1 and 2. Now, if you'll flip it over on the back side real quick, I just want to point out one other thing. We're going to do this like the first 5 minutes of class tomorrow, and then we'll move on to 7-5. So I'm buying you a day tomorrow. Yay. But note that you could probably do this just by looking at the chart up here. They tell you the change of base formula for any positive numbers, m, b, and c, with b not equal to 1 and c not equal to 1. Then they give you the log b of m is equal to, if you want to switch something to a different log, that's how you switch it. So if you can just follow that formula right there, you can work the rest. And just, you would work 14 through 17. Don't work the last one. We're not going to do that one. It's not on the test. Question? I'm done. I'm going to pass out the test now. I have to write you a pass. Just a minute. Are there any other questions? All right. So if you will, clear your desk of everything but your math journal. You can have your math journal out for your test. You can use your math journal on your test. And you need a pencil, but put away all assignments in your workbook. Just your notes. Just your math journal is all you can have out. I will give you scrap paper. It's on the Scantron. And this concludes our lesson today. Come back tomorrow with the first page worked and try to do the back page if you can. And we'll turn them in right shortly after the hour begins. Thank you. This concludes our lesson.